One day, when I was 7 years old, I went over to my friend's house and he showed me his new aquarium. It was small with a couple of fish and snails, but I was just so captivated by this miniature underwater world. I loved the colorful fish darting through the plants and the snails gliding across the glass. So naturally, I had to have one. So I pestered my parents over and over again, and then finally I got a fishbowl. Now the fishbowl was not good enough. Soon I had all these Tupperware tubs full of fish, and then those turned into actual aquariums. So then, years later, my room ended up looking like this. Yes. It ended up looking like this in 2015. And here's what it looks like right now. And this clicker is very bad. All right, so what is it that has made me devote my entire life to keeping these aquariums? Because I've kept about 30 of these over the course of the past 10 years. Well, through my involvement in the hobby, I've met a number of different hobbyists, and I've noticed that each and every one of them is drawn to a different aspect of the hobby. For some, they like collecting rare and expensive corals, such as this mushroom coral, which sold for $6,000. For others, an aquarium is a form of therapy. It's relaxing. They keep aquariums for the aesthetic. So whatever the purpose may be, many different people with extremely different aspirations, goals, and backgrounds all find their place in the aquarium hobby. So what is it that draws me to the aquarium hobby? For me, it's the challenge of replicating a natural ecosystem in a glass box. It's just so fascinating to me that a fish that used to be swimming in the ocean or a lake is now swimming around in my tank. Whenever people look at my aquariums, they admire all the pretty colors, but they completely overlook the amount of thought, work, and research it takes to replicate a natural ecosystem. One of the most challenging animals I've ever kept is the seahorse. And so the aquarium store owner had warned me they're a pain in the neck to keep, he said, but that made me more determined to keep the seahorse. So I got the seahorse. It came in a little plastic bag looking all innocent and cute, but then it proceeded to make the next 2 weeks of my life a living hell as it refused to eat anything, and then finally one day just started taking food. And such is the nature of the aquarium hobby. Sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. And it's up to the aquarist to maximize his or her chances of getting lucky. With the seahorse, I tried so many different foods and so many different ways of trying to entice it to eat. And I'm sure my tremendous efforts greatly maximize the animal's chance of survival. Another small problem I encountered with the seahorse is that they need to be fed twice a day, and each feeding session takes about 20 minutes. So I'd often be late to school because I was feeding my seahorse. So on these days when I was late to school, I just have my mom feed me breakfast while I was feeding the seahorse. Thanks, Mom. In this hobby, I love how there's always something unexplained, always a new frontier to explore. Even for the aquarists over at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, keeping animals such as these filter-feeding invertebrates is a huge challenge, even for them. And this just puts everything in perspective. In some sense, everyone is on the same level. I also strongly believe that keeping aquariums can greatly influence our personal lives. Sure, keeping cats or dogs, it takes a lot of work, but keeping seahorses and live coral, it's on an entirely different level. It's more like a science or an art. It can help foster creativity and a desire to explore. It can test our patience and teach us problem solving and improvisational skills, as so many problems can just pop out of nowhere. Furthermore, the state of an aquarium is constantly evolving, just as our lives. I have devoted countless hours to my animal collection. With each new animal I acquire, I face new challenges and discover new things. Even if I make a single mistake, they can die. Even if I don't make any mistakes, they sometimes still die. It's hard and it's frustrating, and yet it can be so rewarding when the animals flourish under my care. Thank you.